Hey, when Heather gets back,
You want that one?
tell her to text my wife the game is on. She's right there.
Well, I don't have the right earphones.
Ready, coaches?
Jenny said the first day she got here for us and said, Rockets.
Of course, there's
Yes.
5 innings, 10 ball game.
Out of here.
You got that right.
All right. One more. So this one's it no matter what.
Big Gene's academic award falls up there.
Oh, nice. Got him done.
You heard anything else about Mary, Zach?
No, haven't heard a thing.
I'm figuring we probably won't.
No. See ya.
I'll see you Monday.
All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Salem, Virginia. Welcome back to Salem, Virginia for the winner-take-all championship game of the 2021 18U edition of the USA Softball Gold National Championship. My name is J.J. Nekloff. I'm the Associate Commissioner with the Old Dominion Athletic Conference down here in the Virginia area, located just 55 miles to the east in the Lynchburg region. And we have final contest here between Windermere Wildfire and the Florida Storm, both out of the state of Florida here. Lineups are just coming into us now, so bear with us a little bit as we get into this.
Leading off for Wildfire, number 3, left fielder, Charlie Warren.
So lineup largely unchanged for the Windermere Wildfire from the previous game, with the only substitution being Alyssa Grimes will be in the circle for Windermere, who is the visiting team again here in this one, as the lineup is identical otherwise, and they'll be squaring off against number 42, Jasmine Francic. And the first offering from Francic to leadoff batter Charlie Warren, the left fielder, is downstairs for ball one. We'll set lineups for you here. Once they come through, we'll try to do that here in between halves of here this first inning, and slapping that one foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. A 1-0 contest just a few minutes ago put us into this situation here of a winner-take-all championship. Florida Storm had a game in hand, and Windermere, playing in their 5th game of the day now, have had to work the hard way to get to this opportunity for a chance to hoist a national trophy. That one finds the outer edge for strike 1, 1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll also bring you umpires here shortly, making sure we have all our information correct before I go ahead and send it out to you, as the women working the Game Breaker programs with statistics are updating it frantically as we get along with this game. And Warren kind of does a half wave outside at that one, as Francic did a nice job going hard and wide with that fastball, and it's out number 1.
Now batting number 5, second baseman Olivia Lepari.
Stepping to the plate, second baseman at number 5, Olivia Lepari. She'll be followed by Emily Allen, the 1, 2, 3. Allen, the center fielder for Windermere. And Lepari way out in front of that one as she swings through it for strike 1. Very aggressive, this Windermere team, as several players swinging at first pitches in the last game. And that one upstairs and outside from Francic for ball 1. That one lifted to left, deep to left, deep. Will it get out? It is. It is gone. Touch 'em all time for Olivia Lipari with a solo home run. For Lipari, that is her 4th home run of this tournament here in Salem, giving her 20 RBI and 20 runs scored. Outstanding showing for her here in Salem, Virginia. As maybe she should think about coming to school up in this area. And we'll go through this throughout the competition. She's coming up sort of into this range, as she'll be heading to the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. And we'll get to those decisions if they exist for each of the players as we roll through this game, much like we did in the previous game, but we might have a new audience here for this one, or a couple members of a new audience. So we will go back through that and highlight these athletes as best as we can. Now, Emily Allen stepping in, the center fielder, and pulling the string on that one, and whether it was a check swing strike or a strike over the plate, doesn't matter. It's strike one. No balls, 1 strike, 1 down. And Allen turns on that one, sends it to left field. This time, able to squeeze it out there without any issue or out much issue is Haley Turner, as we assume that's out there. I still haven't seen that lineup just yet, but we'll get that taken care of here in between the halves of the innings. Regardless, that's 2 down. And Dylan Anthony, the first baseman, steps in. First pitch, Anthony popped up behind the plate. That'll get out of play. As it looks like behind the plate in this game is Tava Thornsberry. Rodriguez looks like at third, Sinkowitz at short, Brait at second, and Zoe Thornsberry at first. Assumptions in the outfield. Karis Platt is in center. Mandy Taylor in right, and Haley Turner in left, as that pitch misses. 1 ball, or was in there, sorry. No balls, 2 strikes. Francic looking down at wristband. She's ready. And fouls that one back. She comes across the rubber pretty, or plate I should say, no rubber out there for softball. But comes across the plate pretty severely, starting on the right side. As she was throwing in the early winners bracket semifinal, the 11 o'clock time slot earlier today, and I think I took notice of that. Starts far right, and you can even see from her drag mark there in front, she goes all the way to the left coming across. That one popped up third base side, foul territory. Rodriguez says she's got it, and she does. So that'll end the top half of the first inning, but not before Olivia Lipari puts a charge into one and sends it over the left field fence to give Windermere Wildfire a 1-0 lead through half an inning. And we'll go ahead and go through the lineups here. I have Windermere's in front of me, so we'll go through that first. Batting first in left field is Charlie Warren, and at second base is Olivia Lipari, the home run hitter, and then Emily Allen in center field hits third. Dylan Anthony is at first base. Lexi Scalzo bats fifth at short, and Larkin Maceda is behind the plate. Batting seventh is the third baseman Mariah Rodriguez. And I apologize earlier there to our third baseman from the Storm, as that would be Machado, not Rodriguez. Got the wrong team. Batting eighth for Windermere will be Allie Schick, the designated player, and batting ninth is right fielder Lily Keister, and they will be playing defense behind pitcher number 55, Alyssa Grimes. And we'll go through the Storm lineup as we get through it here. As I have a photo of it now, folks, so we'll be able to bring it to you. Karis Platt, the center fielder, will lead things off, and she'll be followed up by third baseman Casey Machado and second baseman Anna Brate. We were right that catcher is number 55, Tava Thornsberry, and we'll get to that here shortly as Grimes is ready for her first offering to Platt. And that one's in there for strike one. Pop of the glove there on that one. It looks like Grimes has a little bit more heat than Buckner did, the previous pitcher, and Buckner twirled a gem against the Storm. Twice had innings of 2 runners on base, but was able to work through that with some good defense out there behind her, and coming away with a 1-0 shutout, complete game shutout victory. The 1-1 pitch coming from Grimes. Is chopped foul at the plate. And the pace of the last game was, we were talking about it in between a little bit, it was a little bit slow. Both these, both pitchers or both philosophies for these teams have the pitcher looking in to the dugout and then looking down at a wristband for what the call is. Every player on the infield has that wristband, so everybody knows what the situation is going to be. So that's outside for ball 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So full infield has an idea of pitch location, pitch type. It just takes a little bit longer to communicate that rather than just a normal catcher signal or catcher calling the game. Grimes ready with the 2-2. And that's a little too far inside to Platt, so we go full 3 balls, 2 strikes on the first batter. And that one missed the zone upstairs. So leadoff walk for Karis Platt. And we saw in the previous game she has speed to burn, folks. So I would look for some player motion happening here as Casey Machado steps in. Now, I said that in the previous game, and it didn't happen as Machado swung away. And Larkin Maceda, the catcher for Wildfire, was actually able to throw out Platt at second base on a steal attempt in the first inning of that last game. But there was also a swinging bunt that Platt had late in the contest in the previous game, and she beat everybody to the bag, and it wasn't even close. Chop to short. Out at first base is one. Good slide on the bag. No issue there as Platt holds the bag just to make sure that Lipari didn't cough up the ball on the little bit of contact there on the slide at the bag. Scalzo made the play from short over to second to complete the fielder's choice. And it looks like we're just going to let Lipari walk it off a little bit here. Coach coming out to talk with her just to make sure everything's in good place. That'll give us an opportunity to go back through the lineup for the Storm, as batting with 1 down and a runner on first base after the fielder's choice is Anna Brate, the second baseman. Batting behind her will be the catcher in this game, number 55, Tava Thornsberry. Then it'll be designated player Hannah Marion, who pitched the last game and also pitched very well. Zoe Thornsberry, or Reagan Sinkowitz, is at short, hitting 6th. Zoe Thornsberry, first baseman, hits 7th as Brate takes a strike there, or takes a ball, I should say. 1 ball, no strikes. Batting 8th will be Jasmine Franchik in the circle. And Ava Bassani is in right field, batting 9th, and in the flex position in left field is Haley Turner. 1-0 pitch is outside, misses the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. That one's in there. Good fastball in the inner half for strike one. That one also there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brait back in the left-handed batter's box, ready to go. And now Grimes is ready. 2-2 pitch. Upstairs, maybe a little out as well. Maceda wanted it, Grimes wanted it, but nothing doing there from our highly experienced umpire staff for this game. And I will introduce them to you here in between innings here, as we're 3-2 now, 1 down. 1 run across for Windermere in the top half of the first inning, and a runner on here for the Storm as they try to reciprocate in the bottom half. Line drive back up the middle into center field. A base hit for Brait. And the Storm have 2 runners on now with Tava Thornsberry stepping up. Ava officially, but Tava as she goes by, and that's what's written down actually on the scorecard as well. But I know it's Ava from some information forms that we received from each of the teams here prior to these games that we'll be able to introduce these players to you. And if you were watching the previous game, you get to hear about them one more time. As for anybody new watching this contest, we still want to make sure that you get to know these wonderful student athletes we have from the high school level and will soon be going to the collegiate level to play. After a quick meeting in the circle, team from Windermere ready to go. And the pitch from Franchek to Thornsberry is downstairs for ball 1. That one fouled off, even the count at 1-1. An off-speed pitch held on to too long there by Franchik, and behind the plate, Arca Maceda is not a large person, and she used every bit of a jump in height to keep that from going to the backstop and everybody moving up a base. As a result, we're still 2-1, now 3-1 on the count, runners at first and second. One down here in the bottom half of the first. Storm threatening. Chopper back up the middle over the pitcher into center field. A base hit. Up and throwing is the center fielder. That'll be cut off, and a run comes in to score with Machado sliding across home plate. The throw looked like it could have been a good one coming from Emily Allen, but the call was to cut it off there at the pitcher's rubble, and we've got a 1-1 score here now. Are we going to have a quick change? It looks like we are, folks. As Franchik comes off. I'm sorry, it's Grimes that comes off, not Franchik, the wrong team. And coming in is Libby Lewandowski. So Libby is a straight replacement for Grimes there in the flex position and in the pitcher circle. So Lewandowski, this is her fourth start and her ninth appearance here in Salem, as she has the most innings logged of anybody here for the Wildfire. 37 2/3 innings coming into this game. 10 runs given up, 9 of them earned. 26 hits and 51 strikeouts in those almost 38 innings. So we expect those numbers to continue to manifest here in this game. ERA 1.67 and a .823 whip here in her appearances in Salem. And her first offering is outside. So the runners on first and second are still the responsibility of Grimes, with 1 run in already this inning. And that one missed the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 run on a home run for the Wildfire in the top half. 1 run on 2 hits here in the bottom half of the inning. And that one lifted into right field, into the path of Keister, and she takes care of it for the second out.
Now batting number 36, shortstop, Reagan.
That brings to the plate number 36, your shortstop, Reagan Sinkovitz. And I don't know why I just went European on that one, Sinkowitz. And the offering is upstairs, maybe a little wide as well from Lewandowski. That one also misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Sinkowitz slick fielding out there. Made a couple nice plays despite also having her first error of the tournament in the last game, but still made a couple very nice plays prior to that miscue. As our umpire is going to have a talk with the Windermere head coach. Not sure what the story is or the conversation that's being had right now between George Paulson and our home plate umpire, Reed Clayton. And as we go ahead and go through that, at third base is Edward Trudell from Albany, Oregon. At first base is Rusty Germany from Lufkin, Texas. And as mentioned before, Reed Clayton is from Boise, Idaho, and he's behind home plate. 30 years of experience for him, 22 years of experience for Mr. Germany, and 10 years for Edward Trudell. Not too bad. And we'll give you a little bit of feeling about them later. Is also talking about the USA Softball Umpiring Program, a very robust training program that they have, and considered one of the best, if not the best in the business at training new officials. 3 balls, no strikes, though, now, as Lewandowski in trouble here, as that's 4 straight bad ones to Sinkowitz, so bases are loaded of Storm. As they look to put a number up here pretty quick with first baseman Zoe Thornsberry stepping in. Not too many hard hit balls in the previous game against Buckner, but Thornsberry had one of them, and it came in the 7th inning as she ripped a single into right field, and one of those would do well again. This time we've got a pass ball coming from Maceda as fastball went off the tip of her glove, and that'll go as a pass ball and is an unearned run currently. As it's scored like a motion error right now. We'll have to see how the inning plays out here. Extra base hit would undoubtedly turn, any base hit would turn that into an earned run. An extra base hit would likely change all things around of later runs to score here. But it only works as an error for the player movement at the moment, as there's no out that's associated with that. So we'll have to just see how the rest of the inning goes as we recreate that here in the press box. As have a conversation in the circle, likely just a motivational focus discussion there between Coach Paulson and his team. And the full team actually came in for that one. So energy boost a little bit. Again, this is the 5th game the Wildfire have played today. So nothing wrong if there's the need for a little bit of a focus moment. And that off-speed pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Or ball 2, I apologize. There was a pitch before the meeting. And that one's in there for strike 1. Lights are on here in Salem now at the Moyer Complex, as we had a little bit of rain in the previous game, getting into the later hours here of the evening. And just good practice to go ahead and turn them on. That one slashed foul, third base side. Had Jasmine Francic ducking here as she's next up for the Storm. Lewandowski ready, and her offering just off the outer edge. And we go full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. There is a base open at first base, but early in the game, no real reason to go ahead and use that. 2 runs in here, though, for the Storm. 2-1 ball game, still in the 1st inning. And Thornsberry swings through that one. Good inside fastball there from Lewandowski. That ends the frame, but not after the Storm put up 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, although the passed ball will cause that second run to be unearned, and 2 Storm left on base. Your score through 1 complete is Florida Storm 2 and Windermere Wildfire 1. We'll be back with you here in Salem and talk about some few more details in a few moments. The shortstop, Lexi Scalzo, will lead things off for Windermere Wildfire here in the top half of the 2nd inning. As we continue on here at the James I. Moyer Sports Complex in Salem, Virginia, one of 3 different complexes used this week for this large 18U and 16U championship, the Gold National Championship hosted by USA Softball. Also used the 4-field facility up at Botetourt. And it looks like Bodetort, folks, but it is pronounced Botetourt. And then there are 3 fields that are at the Burton Complex down the road here. So a total of 11 fields used for these games, including the 4 here at the James I. Moyer Sports Complex, which is known for hosting large events. The entire city hosts an amateur championship called Chance Crawford that basically every field in Salem and Roanoke is used over a couple of days, and it's an outstanding event. As Scalzo there fouls off the first pitch on a bunt attempt for strike 1 against Francic. This is the 8th annual championship, or was the 8th annual championship for the 16U division of Gold Nationals. This is the 28th annual, having started in 1994 for the 18U division. As that one's outside for ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. USA Softball with several key programs that we'll talk about throughout this game here. We'll get to meet the players a little bit and some details that they've given to us, and the great staff here with USA Softball, several of them boots on the ground, and with the umpiring community as well. As that one's inside off the plate, 2 balls, 1 strike. I mentioned that there are over 60 years of experience just on this game alone in umpiring crews, and every crew has had a 3-person team throughout pool play early on and then in the double elimination brackets, and that's for both divisions. That pitch is outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. And the leadoff runner for Windermere will be just what the doctor ordered to get back in here, as we have more runs in this game already in 1 inning than we had all of the last game, with just 1 run coming across in Windermere's win to force this winner-take-all 18U championship. And that one's in there for strike 1. Scalzo wanted to take a walk, but nope, nothing doing. At least not yet. And actually 3 and 2. Somehow I missed a strike somewhere. I apologize, folks. I also had a pole blocking my view of my current position, so we'll need to fix that so I can see the scoreboard a little better. Off-speed pitch falls a little downstairs, maybe around the plate as well. Either way, it's a walk for Scalzo, a leadoff walk. As now we see the catcher,
Number 1 catcher,
Larkin Maceda. She steps in with contributions both offensively and defensively last game, reaching base at least once. And she threw out a base runner trying to steal and made a nice play behind the plate on a pop-up that was very near the wall early on in the game. Running right away, Thornsberry up with it. Great throw on the bag and better slide out there from Scalzo as she beats the throw from Tava Thornsberry. I tell you, that's one player doing one good thing and another player doing another thing great. And that's the only reason that Scalzo's standing out there, is Thornsberry put that on the money. But a good jump, the right pitch, and a good slide as the tying run out there on second base for Wildfire. The pitch itself was a ball. And here comes the bunt attempt, and that one's down in front of the plate. It'll be a fair ball and go down as a sacrifice 2-4 for those of you scoring at home. And more importantly for Wildfire and their fans is Scalzo standing on third base now, with the third baseman, Mariah Rodriguez, stepping in.
Now batting, number 22, the third baseman, Mariah Rodriguez.
Mariah, one of several players that will be on their way, either signed or committed to an institution of higher learning, and we'll go through those as we get a little deeper into the game here and meet these players for a second time. Popped up and right at me here. If I had longer arms, I'd have caught it. Francic is ready now with the 0-1 pitch. And got Rodriguez a swing early, over top, through, whatever that one was. Had Rodriguez guessing on that one. No balls, 2 strikes. One out, runner on third base, the potential tying run here in the top half of the second inning. And that one's way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Or 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rodriguez sends that one to her counterpart at third, who was way up, knocked it down. Sienkiewicz picks up the ball, skimming across. That'll go down likely as a base hit, fielder's choice somewhere in there. Either way, don't think there's going to be an error on that play as you're 10 feet in front of the bag there. It's awful hard to field a hard shot there, but run comes in for Wildfire, and we have a 2-2 ball game. Check with our scorer there on whether that was a hit.
Now batting number 29.
And that's what we're going with. We're going to say base hit on that one, as it would have been an awful hard play to even throw out a run to there at first, so no reason for a fielder's choice either. RBI comes across for Rodriguez, and we have a 2-2 ball game. Allie Schick stepping in. The designated player for Wildfire. Started the game, the previous game in that position as well, but the latter 2 at-bats for that spot actually went to Jaden Ruskowski. And that one's outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Rodriguez over at first base with 1 down. Her base hit on a sharp grounder to third. Brought in the run and tied this game up here. And that one is outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Pitcher's having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone here right now. And that one as well misses. So the second walk of the inning by Franchik has runners on first and second, and actually it was 29 who was batting there. Ruskowski, as I couldn't see the jersey until we turned around. And now we'll have Keister stepping in with 2 runs on, but not before. It's going to be a little players-only meeting for the Storm in the circle. And a quick one just for knowing what's going on. And there we go. There's the re-entry coming back in, as changing out the bat of Jaden Ruskowski now for the legs of Allie Schick. That's the benefit of that flex position, is you can interchange there as much as you want. Flex designated player area, plus the players included. Keister, as she did in the previous game, showing bunt first and pulling it back as she walked up the batter's box, but took strike 1. And that one's in there for strike 1. Franchik predominantly working the outside part here and trying to find where the zone is. 2 walks here in this inning and found it that time. So if she can continue to paint that area, she'll be in a good spot. The 0-2 pitch coming to Keister. Chop to third. Up with his Machado, throwing across to get the easy out. Both runners move up, so runners on second and third, but 2 down now. As we go back to the top of the order, and Charlie Warren, the left fielder.
Number 3, Charlie Warren.
Warren on her way to Fairfield University. And that that one misses outside for ball one. Lots of nicknames her team has given her. Chaz, Chuck, Char, lots of different things. Fairfield University's in Fairfield, Connecticut. D1 ball there for you folks. Her favorite softball player to watch as she takes a strike there, 1 ball, 1 strike, is James Madison University pitcher Odyssey Alexander. And nobody can forget that story from this year's Women's College World Series at the Division I level. And the work she did for head coach Lauren Laporte's team at JMU. And there's a sharp single into left field for a base hit for Warren. So a run comes around. And retaking the lead, 3-2, is Wildfire.
Now batting number 5, second baseman Olivia Lipari.
Olivia Lipari, the home run hitter in the first inning, steps in, but not before Jerry Shepard wants to have a chat with his infield and pitcher. As the players had a conference, and now we have one with the coach as we work through this. And it looks like you're going to make a change after having a conversation in there. Coming forward with it, and Franchip flipping the ball over to number 31, Hannah Marion. This could be just a straight flex switch here, as Hannah was. Yep. So Hannah was in the DP position, so Franchik now becomes the OP. As Marion moves into the circle for the second straight game. She was outstanding in the previous one, saddled with a 1-0 loss. And just that one run coming across, otherwise really solid start for her. And she has been very active in this tournament, as we mentioned previously. Looking at her line from that last game, in a full 7 frames, 1 run on 6 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks. And she threw 80 pitches with 75% of them going as strikes. On the other side, Kat Buckner equaled her, if not a little better. No runs on, well, better given and not giving up any runs. No runs on 5 hits. Also no walks, 1 strikeout in 7 innings, 61% strikes on 93 pitches. And we're ready here as Lipari looks at ball 1 from Marion. The runners out there are the responsibility of Franchik. And that one upstairs, and it was off the top of the glove there. That was more wild than the previous one, though. I would say that may go as a wild pitch. Regardless, run comes around to score in the form of Allie Schick. And Warren moves up to second. And the 2-0 pitch is inside and misses, 3-0. So the theme continues of not being able to find the strike zone here right now. 2 walks in this inning have already helped the Wildfire to 3 runs. And another one would just continue the Wildfire's strong second inning. And there's Lipari with the second big hit of the game. Sharp single up the middle into center field for a base hit. She gets RBI number 2 of this contest, and it's now a 5-2 game in Windermere's favor.
Stepping up, center fielder number 20, Emily
That brings up the center fielder, Emily Allen, now. 2 down here in the top half of the second inning. 4 runs already across for the Wildfire, as that one's upstairs for ball 1. This team from Windermere, Central Florida, finding energy where there is none. This is their 5th game of the day. That one in on the hands popped up. Marion will take that one herself and squeeze it for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before 4 runs come across for Wildfire on 3 hits. There were no Storm errors and 1 Wildfire player left on base. Your score through 1.5 is Wildfire 5, Storm 2. We'll be back with you here in Salem in just a few moments. USA Softball, formerly known as the ASA USA Softball, is the national governing body, I should say, for softball here in the United States. Founded in 1933, it was the first group to provide universally accepted rules of play and organizing consistent and fair competition across the country. More than 120,000 teams exist today, with a membership of 1.2 million athletes. And leading off the bottom half of the second inning for the Storm, one of those athletes is Franchik. Jazzy Franchik as she goes by with her team, as you hear also the crowd saying, Jasmine Franchik. She did not play in the first contest between these two teams today. This being the 3rd time that they've met. Earlier in bracket play, it was the Storm coming away with a 6-4 victory. Then you had the 1-0 win for Wildfire just previous to this game. And Wildfire early in the driver's seat with a 5-2 lead. But Franchik there puts a jolt into one toward right center. Comes up about 2 feet short of being a homer as it goes off the wall. But a nice job by Keister and Allen out there to really circle the ball and get it back into the infield quickly. And Franchik is left with a single, a long, loud single. But good opposite field power shown there.
Now batting, number 11.
As we have Ava Bassani stepping in now, the right fielder wearing my favorite number, number 11, because that was my number. And she shows bunt and puts one down expertly. Dylan Anthony up with it, throws over to Olivia Lipari. So your sacrifice is 3-4 there. And the first out of the inning moves Franchik over to second base.
Batting, number 17, center fielder,
Karis Platt looking to continue the trend of teams scoring in every inning so far of this game, or team scoring in every half inning, I should say. So far we've had 3 halves and 7 total runs. So Karis on her way to Florida Southwestern State College. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. Three words she uses to describe this Storm team are driven, focused, and passionate. And those superstitions that exist over their warm-ups and uniforms that they wear, and also Coach Carlos's pregame speech, which several of them mention as the superstitions that they must have before they go out there and play. As she looks at ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Not quite sure yet what she wants to study, but wants it to be somewhere in the healthcare field. Chopper back up the middle. Lipari up with it. And her throw is going to go in the dirt. Good throw would have gotten her. That'll go as an error. And throwing the ball around a little bit here. That speed that we said before of Platt, she turned it into a two-error situation. First the error on Lipari at second base on the play, and then the error we're going to have to charge to Dylan Anthony at first base for overthrowing the catcher at home plate, allowing Platt to go all the way over to third. So 2 errors on the play, no base hit, run comes in to score, 5-3 game. At least that's the way I would score that one. Yep. Stepping to the plate now is third baseman Casey Machado. And that one, line drive back into center field, base hit, and that'll bring in Platt. So Platt's run definitely unearned because she shouldn't have been on base. And the first base hit of the inning. And looks like we're going to have a second pitching change already for the Windermere Wildfire. Number 23 coming into this game is Kat Buckner, who we just saw the last game and threw an outstanding contest. A 5-hit complete game shutout of this Storm squad. So we'll see, or the Windermere fans are hoping that we see some of that same magic out of her right arm. Still, there is one runner out there. That is the responsibility of Lewandowski. And that would be Machado at first base. And one out here, 2 runs already in. 5-4 contest in the Wildfire's favor. The second baseman, Anna Bright, steps in. And we know about her big bat potential here, as you just tell by that fluid left-handed swing that she has. Bright on her way to the College of Holy Cross. And she's got a good set of 3 words to describe her club as fun, hardworking, and badass. When she's at the College of Holy Cross, she'll be looking to study accounting over there. As she looks at the numbers on the board, the 0-1 pitch coming in. That one's downstairs. A really good stop back there by Maceda. Otherwise, Machado might be standing on second base right now as it almost scooted past her. 1 ball, 1 strike, though. Buckner's offering a little bloop shot over the outstretched glove of Lipari at second. And that'll go down as a base hit. So we're just moving along here in this inning and continuing to roll things up.
Now batting number 55, the catcher, Taba Thornsberry.
Taba Thornsberry steps in, the catcher. Thornsberry catching this game after serving as the designated player in the previous. Ava Thornsberry, nicknamed Tava, and that's what's on the scorecard. Outside, ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. Has not yet decided where she's going to commit to for college, but wants to study sports management when she gets there. And one of her superstitions has the same hairstyle for each game. That one's on the inside corner for strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Saw that with Buckner from the last game. Not afraid to come inside on any hitters. Throws plenty hard enough to go ahead and get in there. And the 2-1 offering back outside, and Thornsberry turns it around into left field for a base hit. Stopping at third is Machado. And the bases are loaded with 1 down now for Hannah Marion.
Now batting number 31, Hannah Marion.
So a lot of trouble here right now if you're a Wildfire fan, but you're on the seat of your chair if you're still sitting in it. I know I'm not right now as you're watching this unfold for the Storm. Probably had some bad thoughts after the Wildfire put a 4 spot on in the top of this inning, but 2 runs already in here for the Storm with 3 more on the base pass still out there with just 1 down for Marion as she looks at a ball downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Marion will be going to Stetson University. Her favorite team to watch, though, is Georgia, the Bulldogs. Marion just missed that one. Big swing on it, pops it up third base side, and it'll get out of play. But she had a big old swing on that one and a beat on it. And maybe I'm projecting a little bit there, as everybody knows that the Grand Slam is the greatest hit in softball. But either way, 1 ball, 1 strike. Claims she does not have any superstitions, which means she's the only baseball or softball player I know that doesn't have any. And that one is downstairs, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. That one's downstairs, 3-1 now. No place to put her out there for Buckner, so Marion can zero in here on a zone. Buckner ready, and her 3-1 pitch. Fouled straight back as Marion had a big old cut on that one, and that one she truly just missed, folks. But we go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down here in the bottom half of the second inning. 2 runs already in for the Storm. 3 more out there on the base pass. 4 runs in the top of the inning for the Wildfire. That's how we're at our 5-4 game. 1 run in the top of the first on a home run for the Wildfire. 2 runs in the bottom of the first for the Storm. And Marion turns one around deep left center field. Is it gone? It is gone. Touch 'em all for Hannah Marion, and a grand slam home run for the player headed to Stetson. That is 6 runs in this inning for the Storm. It is now an 8-5 ball game, and folks, there was really no doubt about that one. I played it up a little bit. It was an is there, could there, would there be, and it definitely was off the bat. It had that sound, and I'm hoping the microphones pick that up for you out there as well. 8-5 contest. Marion turns that one around deep into the night in left center field. 13 runs already between these two teams in the first 2 innings. after a one-run pitcher's gem on both sides just before this. As Reagan Sankowitz, a shortstop, steps in, and she takes ball one. The Wildfire already working on the third pitcher here in this game, and it's Buckner, who was absolutely outstanding in the previous game. And this time he just came into a different energy situation coming into relief. And that one's downstairs for ball two and caught our home plate umpire there. So we'll, like any good catcher does, she'll walk it partway out there so that Mr. Reed can catch his breath a little bit after catching that one in the shin. Sankowitz, who is signed to go to Lander University, wants to major in marketing and sales. Says she's not a superstitious person, but part of her uniform is to always have a towel in her back pocket. Well, I'm going to call that a superstition, folks, because it's not part of the normal uniform. So she does it all the time. It's because she likes to, and it's a superstition. 3 balls, no strikes, though, on her right now. What she'd really like on this one is another wayward pitch and keep adding base runners for the Storm. And that's exactly what happened here, as that offering from Buckner was upstairs for ball 4. That'll bring first baseman Zoe Thornsberry up, and we're going to have another pitching change here as we're going to go back to our starter here in Grimes. So full circle as we go through here, scoring programs and those keeping hand sheets. You're going to have a good fun time taking care of things here. Now, a good thing about the scoring programs we all use electronically is there's nobody actually to look at doing that. You just input it and it figures it out. The Grand Slam kind of helps as well clean the slate, as we know that the only run there that belongs to runner left that belongs to Buckner is over there on first base in the form of Sankowitz. But now we've got Zoe Thornsberry up, and she will go off against Grimes, the original starting pitcher for the Wildfire. And in fact, let me make sure I update that in my book here as well, as my cursor was actually still there, ready to go ahead and get that done. Alyssa Grimes back in the flex and pitcher spot, as Windermere looks to stop whatever's happening here right now and get back in there into the batter's box so they can return to scoring runs. 10 runs total scored in this second inning so far. 8-5 contest in favor of the Storm. 6 of those 8 coming right here in the bottom of this frame. Still just 1 out. Runner at first base is a shortstop, Reagan Sankowitz. And Zoe Thornsberry steps in, wearing number 21. Nickname of Z or Zoe. And that's in there for strike 1 from Grimes. Says she can't choose just one superstition, as she has several of them. That sounds familiar. I'm sorry, I read the wrong category. Can't choose one player or team, as she has several of them. As far as superstitions go, she says, I have the same routine when playing the field before a pitch is thrown. Every single time. You might have to pay attention to that now. And she shows bunt that time, and that one goes off the glove of Maceda. Was a high pitch, but certainly one she should have handled. In my book there, that'll be her second pass ball of the game, and it allows Sankowitz to go over to second base. Zoe Thornsberry says she has not yet committed where she wants to try to play collegiate ball or go to school yet, but when she gets there, computer science is her current field of study she would like to work towards. And that one's in there for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Absolutely no wind out there to speak of, folks, as I was just noticing standing here in the open air of the press box that it was getting a little close in here. And that's because there's no wind, no breeze like there was to start the last game. The wind died down for that one as well, and it is maintained here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Grimes against Thornsberry. Chopper back to the circle. Grimes up with it. Throws over to Anthony at first. And that'll be the second out, and Sankiewicz moves up to third.
Now batting number 42, Jasmine Francis.
And that brings up Jasmine Francic, who led off this inning. Francic just missed a home run to lead this off by about 2 feet as she sent a screamer toward right center that hit off the wall just under the yellow mark there. Strike 1 in there from Grimes. And that one also in there. So 0-2 count. And Grimes in the enviable position of working ahead here. And hoping that parlays into getting out of this inning. That one's off the outer edge. More than Macedo made it look like. Did a nice job trying to frame that back in for Mr. Clayton. And Francic took a big cut at that one and missed it. So Grimes gets out of the inning there with the strikeout, stranding a runner over there on third base. But damage done here in this frame by the Storm. 6 runs on 5 hits. There were 2 wildfire errors and 1 Storm player left on base. Your new score through 2 innings complete is the Florida Storm 8, the Windermere Wildfire 5. We'll be back here in Salem in just a few moments. Four, 5, 6 for the Wildfires start off the top half of the 3rd inning. And that begins with first baseman Dylan Anthony.
Leading off, number 4, first baseman Dylan Anthony.
Dylan Anthony signed on at Stetson University. And she looks at ball 1 from Hannah Marion. Anthony, known by Dill or D by her teammates. Says her favorite team to watch is also Stetson. Good smart call when you signed on to play there. Too many of those superstitions to list, and she wants to study medicine in college. That one fouled off. 2 balls, 1 strike now on Anthony. That one's in there for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Marion finds the corner. Anthony bat on her shoulder. See, there's a little space between the bottom hand and the knob of the bat. Turns that one over and rolls it up to third base as Machado up with it. A couple crow hops and toss across for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the shortstop. Wearing 00, Lexi Scalzo.
Now batting shortstop, 00, Lexi Scalzo.
Lexi, or Lex by her teammates, is on her way to Lee University. Sounds like a great place, Lexi at Lee. And she turns on that one, sends it deep to left field over the outstretched arm of Haley Turner. And up against the wall, that'll go as a double there for a second. And now it's a double in an air as a bad throw on Turner is going to allow Scalzo to move up to third base. A little bit sloppy defensively in this game for these two teams. And that certainly has had something to do with the 13 runs that are already on the board. Now we get the catcher wearing number 1, Larkin Maceda. Lark, as she's known by her teammates, on her way to Palm Beach Atlantic University. She sends that one short center. Up with it is Allen in the throw home. Yep, good idea for Scalzo to stay there because she'd been out by a few feet there on that one. As Thornsberry was able to catch it, even though it was a little bit high, it was a good strong toss from not Allen, but from Platt in center as I continue to mix up my center fielders. My apologies to both families. With 2 out now, we have Mariah Rodriguez. First pitch swinging, line drive off second baseman Anna Bright's glove and into short right field for a base hit. That'll allow a run to come along in the form of Lexi Scalzo. And we're at an 8-6 ball game now, folks.
Now batting number 2, Allie Schick.
And Allie Schick staying in here, yes? Yes, so Allie Schick will bat for just the second time in these 2 games. She came into that first game hitting just 138 and with 16 strikeouts going on. So that could be part of the reason why in the 11th and 12th games that Windermere is playing here that they try to change things up and get a little bit of a different bat. And that bat has been the form of Jaden Ruskowski the last 2 games. But Schick getting an opportunity here and can certainly do some damage with the runner out there and 2 down. And that off-speed pitch is in there from Marion for strike 1. Schick will be headed to Murray State University. And she looks at one that must have been downstairs, so we'll call it low for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 words to describe her team: family, competitive, and resilient. And she sends a high fly ball into right center field. That has trouble written all over it, except when Karis Platt is out there and she ranges over and makes the play. So as far as runs scored and damage done, not much here in this inning for the Wildfire. As 1 run on 2 hits, there was 1 Storm error and 1 Wildfire player left on base. Your score through 2.5 is the Storm 8 and the Wildfire 6. We've alluded to it a couple times, but the umpiring program with USA Softball is unmatched and second to none, as they have national, regional, and local mechanic schools and rules clinics that are scheduled each spring, and in many of those cases in the fall as well for new umpires beginning that year. Training is similar at each level, as described in the USA Softball Umpire Manual. They have a robust insurance program for the officials as well. An umpire uniform and leisure wear program is also available that each registered umpire can purchase and wear the official USA Softball umpire uniform with pride. And they've provided some outstanding officials here this weekend that we've seen as we get ready for the bottom half of the third inning now. And we have number 11, Ava Bassani, leading things off, and first pitch swinging. She rolls it over foul, third base side. Looks like we have a rogue wasp up in the press box area. As I was looking over at my compatriots up here, and everybody's looking up, and I'm looking out at the field, so hoping that I don't become the one stung as that off-speed pitch from Grimes is held on to a little bit much and goes high for ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sani's turns on that 1-1 pitch and puts it into left field for a base hit. Another inning in which the leadoff runner gets on here as we try to add to this 14-run total we've seen through the first 2 innings, or 2.5 innings, I should say. And we go back to the top of the order with Karis Platt, the center fielder. Saw her make 2 nice plays there in center field that last half inning. A good throw home to keep a runner at third. Unfortunately for them, that runner eventually did come around, but then ended the inning by ranging far to her left into right center field and making a very nice play. So we know all about that speed, and you can see it first and third. They do too. The bunt tried, she offered, pulled back. Yes, she did. So it'll go with the ball, ball 1. Bassani over at first base. And checking with second base umpire out there, seeing if there was any sort of offer at that one, and he agrees no with the original assumption by me. Grimes is ready. All the infield in. And not showing bunt that time was Platt. 2 balls, no strike. See what Coach Shepard wants to do here with this one. The bat may just stay on her shoulder there waiting for Grimes to throw a strike because base runners are a good thing. The 2-0 pitch from Grimes. Nope, she's swinging, chops it high to pitcher. And a high errant throw. Means that runner reaches safely. That'll be an error on the throw on Grimes, as certainly a good throw gets her. So 2 runners on now, nobody out. Check to, there was a check over there at first base as well, as Platt turned towards her third base side, but the umpire out there deemed that she didn't make enough of an effort going towards second to warrant the out when the tag was applied by Dylan Anthony. So Casey Machado up here, and I know that she can swing the bat fairly well, but if I'm a betting man, this ball is going to be put on the ground to put 2 runners in scoring position. And I'd be wrong. Fouled off third base side. See, and that's why I'm not a betting man, so we're good to go. Machado will be coming back here to the Virginia area for school, as she has committed to or signed on to Liberty University. And that pitch comes up a little bit short, ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Wants to study criminal psychology, and with the academic program at Liberty, she'll get a good taste of that. Her superstitions are the way she puts her uniform on, and my favorite one of all the players, she eats a pack of M&Ms before every game. And runners will move up there. Waiting for a signal here from our home plate umpire on count. And he showed it in front of his body. There we go. 2 balls, 1 strike. With that ball in the dirt, allowing everybody to move up now, Machado can go ahead and swing away. That one finds the outer edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still nobody out here in this inning. Every half inning, we've seen at least 1 run scored. And the Storm have a good opportunity to continue that trend. Machado waits back on the off-speed pitch. Fly ball to plenty deep enough center field. And that should score the run, and it does, with Bassani coming around to score. Now a 9-6 ball game. As Allen made the play in center, and still it was plenty deep enough to allow runner at second to move up to third. And that one's in there for strike 1 to second baseman Anna Brait. Brait had a bloop base hit over her counterpart's head in the previous inning. And that one's outside for ball 1. Off speed pitch, and Brait double clutched on that one twice. Couldn't pull the trigger. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Probably a good idea. If you're not set there, you still have a strike left. But protect mode now. Straight up, slightly open stance. And takes that one upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Everything about the way she swings the bat just screams power potential here. The 2-2 pitch, off speed and upstairs. Maceda uses every bit of her height to keep it there. And we're run full with 1 down. Chops that one foul at the plate, and we'll do it again. Pacing has certainly slowed in this contest, but Grimes ready. And that one turned over, and Anthony picks it up, throw home. What's the call going to be here? There's nothing being done, and calling her out there on that one. And time is called there as the umpire turns away from situation to allow his coach to talk to his player. And that was a good job by him to do that, to allow Coach Shepard to talk to Platt. As Platt avoided the first tag, thought she reached down to touch the base. Did not, and tagged out at home plate there.
Now batting, number 55, Taba Thornsberry.
By Maceda. So officially in your scorebook, that goes as a fielder's choice. And an out, 3-2. 2 down now, runner at first base is Brait. And Tava Thornsberry up. She looks at strike 1. that off-speed pitch, that'll drop in the zone. Going 0-2 on Thornsberry. Lots of different combinations now here for Grimes to work with, and Thornsberry in protect mode. Up a rung on that bat, a little bit of space between her bottom hand and the knob. And the offering. That off-speed pitch is upstairs, held onto it a little bit too much. And there's a good, hard inside fastball there by Grimes to get Thornsberry to swing over top of it for the final out of the inning and leave a runner on base there. So for the Storm in the bottom half of the third inning, 1 run on 1 hit. There was 1 wildfire error and 1 Storm player left on base. Your score through 3 complete is the Florida Storm 9 and the Windermere Wildfire 6. Talked about a lot of the players here so far, talked about the umpiring program last time, but let's talk about the motivations. Some of these umpires here about why they're into it. You know, Edward Trudell over at third base, he's coached other sports and for 15 years and then began officiating to stay involved and give back to youth sports. You know, that's the story you'll hear about a lot of the umpires that we have throughout not just recreational leagues but collegiate league and amateur as well, as staying involved and giving back. And, you know, sometimes it's family involvement as well, as that's one of the situations for umpire at first base, Mr. Germany, as he got involved by his father-in-law and his wife, got him into umpiring as well. And then for Mr. Clayton behind home plate, he played slow pitch and was umpiring and then began umpiring in college and has umpired ever since, and he's been doing it for 30 years now. As I mentioned before, over 60 years of experience in officiating on this game alone. And it's a credit and kudos to the job of the training program and recruiting program with USA Softball's umpiring program to bring quality officials that care about the game and care about the well-being of the athletes at all levels and are here from all over the country to call these games. Leading off the top half of the fourth inning is right fielder Lily Keister for the Windermere Wildfire. And Hannah Marion's offering is fouled off on the left side as Keister continues to show bunt and pull it back and walk up the batter's box in her slap hitting style. We've seen her swinging bunt. We've seen her bunt. We've seen her do natural slapper, and good flexibility for a player of her speed as that one's outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Always the thing that slap hitters are susceptible to is that off-speed pitch, and if they climb up the batter's box too much and have that foot outside when they make contact. But this time, sharp grounder to third that Machado's able to handle and fires across for out number 1.
Now batting left fielder number 3, Charlie Warren.
Turn it back over to the top of the order with the left fielder, Charlie Warren, stepping in. Charlie, we've talked about already, on the way to Fairfield University as she looks at ball 1. What we didn't talk about is she wants to be a physical therapist. And that one misses the zone as well. 2 balls, no strikes. A little bit more informative about her superstitions, team colors, bag placement order, and the routine that she and the team go through. In addition to that waka dance that I talked about in the first game between these two teams today. 3-0 now on Warren, and walking the leadoff batter, even though not the leadoff batter of the inning, but the leadoff batter for the lineup is never a good idea. Marion's ready. And the Stetson-bound righty finds the zone there on that one. 1-1, or 3 balls, 1 strike. Up the middle. Brait. Range to her right, but that was straight speed there. There's nothing that Anna Brait did wrong there on that one. It is simply Charlie Warren beating it out for speed. Runner on first base now with one down, and we go to big bat home run hitter from the first inning, Olivia Lipari, the second baseman for the Wildfire. Liv, or O, known by her teammates. She's on her way to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And that's in there for strike one. She's got a pretty well thought out plan for her study choices. She wants to study biology and then become a physician's assistant. The 0-1 pitch is in there for strike two. Two big hits in this game for Lipari, the home run in the first inning, and then she helped bring around one of those 4 runs in the second inning with a single back up the middle. And that one misses the zone, but steal attempt there for Warren. And the ball bounces right into her body. On the money from Thornsberry, and that's the second time that Thornsberry has gotten a throw there into a position where a play can be made. And the call at second base was out. So 2 down now. The pitch itself was a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Lipari swings and misses at that one, slams the bat down in frustration, and that'll do it here in the top half of the 4th inning. And that's the first time I'm surprised that there's a 0 on the board for score, as no runs come across in that contest or in this frame of the inning for the Wildfire. Through 3.5, your score is the Storm 9 and the Wildfire 6. Stay here and we'll talk about some of the things going on with the history of this tournament, as this is the first ever Gold Nationals hosted in Salem, Virginia. Salem, no stranger to hosting national championships, collegiate, professional, amateur as well, and special event showcases, as they've done Olympic send-off series in the past. But this is the first one of this large tournament, and have used 11 different fields across the Roanoke Valley here, the 4 fields here at the Moyer Complex, the 4 fields at Botetourt just up the road. And I know it looks like Bodetort, but it's definitely pronounced Botetourt, as I've had to be reminded about several times since I moved down here from Ohio 15 years ago. And then they've also used 3 fields at the Burton Complex just down the road from here. This is the 8th annual 16U, or was the 8th annual 16U Gold Nationals that started in 2014. And this is the 28th annual 18U Gold National Tournament that began in 1994. Last time it took place, the Oklahoma City was the host for this portion, the 18U, with a team from Birmingham, Alabama coming through with a victory, and they were in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma for the 16U tournament with a squad from Hot Shots Premier out of Montgomery, Texas, coming through with that title. As we begin the bottom half of the 4th inning, and first pitch swinging is Hannah Marion, and she rolls it foul on the third base side. Marion helping herself big time in that 6-run inning, as she had the grand slam home run. And Grimes says that one's her bad there. She let go of that offering a little too early and had ground ball come on in. 1 ball, 1 strike now. And that one inside, maybe a little low as well. 2 balls and a strike. on the left side, deep shortstop. Getting over there to that without an issue with Scalzo, but just too far of a throw to get the speedy runner there in Marion. So infield single there on that one. Runner on, leadoff runner on again for the Storm. As we have shortstop now, Reagan Sankiewicz stepping in. And the bunt tried to put down, but goes foul. As player movement on here as Coach Shepard thinking about trying to extend that lead again incrementally, as thinks that his pitching has got it figured out. Grimes has the sign and she's ready. Sankiewicz ready. And another bunt attempt here, and she misses one more time. Didn't get the bat out there in front. So 0-2 on 2 failed sacrifice attempts. Rolls that one over to third base. Rodriguez up with it, and she fires across for the out. Marion moves over to second base now. And one down. Time for Zoe Thornsberry to step in. First baseman for the Storm. And there's another RBI opportunity out there for her, with Marion now on second base. And first pitch swinging grounder to her counterpart at first base, and Dylan Anthony. Anthony tags the bag for the out, and Marion moves over to third, now with 2 down though. And Jasmine Francic is back in, the offensive player now after starting the game as the pitcher. 2 at-bats ago, came about 2 feet short of a home run in right center field, right around the USA softball logo there. And this time she looks at ball 1. It's pretty impressive opposite field power, actually. There were 2 strikes in the count. I don't remember how many balls there were, but still with 2 strikes, maybe not thinking about so much power, and she went oppo with it and came up just short of being the second home run in this game. That one's inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Olivia Lipari from Wildfire being the first home run, is second batter of the game. She turned one around from the Storm starter. That one finds the zone there, as Francic taking all the way. Grimes is ready, and the pitch. Upstairs, 3 balls, 1 strike. Base runners, walks aren't what Windermere will be looking for here. As Wildfire pitchers have already walked 3 batters in this game. And that one drops down low, ball 4. So for Grimes, that's her second free pass. As she's looking to try to complete her overall 3rd inning in this game. She was the starter, came out in favor of Libby Lewandowski, and then she was lifted for Kat Buckner, and then Grimes came back in for Buckner. And the first offering there to Bassani is upstairs, maybe a little outside as well for ball 1. And And she pops that one up third base side foul. I don't think anybody's going to be able to get there. Scalzo with a dive tried. More of a way to stop her momentum than actually having a shot to get there. She was still several feet away, but 1 ball, 1 strike. If you're looking on your bracket, folks, this is game number 70 of this bracket. That's a lot of games. Game number 5 today for the Wildfire. As Bassani turns that one around into left field for a base hit, and that'll score a run with Marion coming across the dish. And turn the lineup back over to the top of the order with Karis Platt stepping up, the center fielder.
Stepping up, center fielder, number 17, Karis Platt.
10-6 is your score now. And she tops that one foul first base side on the first offering there. No balls, 1 strike. That one's upstairs, 1-1. And Platt chops that one to second. Way in was Lipari, and she takes care of it with an underhanded toss to Anthony to end the inning, but another run comes across the Storm. In the bottom half of the 4th inning for the Florida Storm, 1 run on 2 hits. There were no Wildfire errors and 1 Storm player left on base. Your score through 4 complete is the Storm 10 and the Wildfire 6. And one of the other programs that is important to USA Softball is the USA Softball Legacy Club. It provides financial support to USA Softball national team programs and athletes through their annual membership giving. These contributions assist in supporting costs associated with training teams for international play and travel for competition. Legacy Club members are friends, alumni, and advocates for USA Softball who recognize the value of continuing the legacy established by those in the past who have worn the red, white, and blue. If you would like to donate to the Legacy Club, please visit www.usasoftballlegacyclub.com. That's all one word, folks, usasoftballlegacyclub.com. We get ready here for the top half of the 5th inning. And Windermere getting things going here with batters 3, 4, 5, and that's Emily Allen, the center fielder, to start things off. Hannah Marion still in the circle for the Florida Storm. And there's some sort of conversation going on here with the umpires, but looks like everything is good. So we'll continue on.
Leading off, number 20, Emily Allen.
And Emily Allen looks at ball 1. Allen, nickname known by her teammates as Lala, will be going to Palm Beach State University. 3 words she uses to describe her team, as she has an 0-2 count now, are family, competitive, and heart. Her one superstition she's got is don't wear black pants for game days. As she chops that one back up the middle into center field for a base hit, so the Wildfire have the leadoff runner on here as they look to close the gap on the Storm here in this one. Again, this is a winner-take-all championship for the 18U division of USA Softball Gold National Tournament. We go to Dylan Anthony now. Talked about her before, on her way to Stetson. Has played a good first base over there overall for the Wildfire. Made a couple nice plays over there with the glove, dug out a couple balls I've seen. And fouls that one off. First base side, now third base side. Pretty much same areas on opposite sides of the diamond, obviously, the park. 0-2 is the result. Allen on first base after a leadoff single. Marion is ready. That one's upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Haze still hanging over the mountains out there a little bit as the nighttime hours start to creep in as 7:45 local time. That's Eastern time here. As that one's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Marion is ready again. That one ripped foul. And really nothing more that Anthony could do with that one, as there's no way she was keeping her hands inside there once she offered at it. The pace again has slowed down when runners get on base against Marion. I've noticed in the couple games I've seen her throw here today. Pacing slows down considerably. And that one blooped over second base into short center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Goes off the glove, and then Platt can't pick it up out there, so likely to be a hit in an air to allow the runner, Allen, to move over to third. So we've got first and third now, and nobody out after the single by Anthony. That brings up shortstop Lexi Scalzo now. Scalzo hammers one into the gap in left center field, and it clears the fence. Maybe it ticked the top of it, but touch 'em all for Lexi Scalzo. As another home run here in this contest, the third of the ball game. That's a 3-run shot. And it makes it 10-9 now in favor of the Storm still, but that deficit cut down to just 1 run. That was a no doubt about it in the gap, folks. I had no clue it had the carry to get all the way over the fence, and I do think it skipped maybe the top of that yellow border on top of the fence, which absolutely is a home run, because once you get on top of that yellow mark, it's gone, folks. 3 runs now here in this inning for the Wildfire. On 3 hits to lead it off. A pair of singles. And then the bomb by Scalzo. For those scoring at home, that also means the air in center field has no effect on scoring, as the home run wipes it out and it was only player movement. And first pitch swinging is the catcher Maceda, and she pops it up to short. And that's where Sankowitz resides, and she takes care of it for out number 1. Mariah Rodriguez now steps up, the third baseman for the Wildfire. Rodriguez heading to Florida Southern College. First pitch swinging as well, pops it up behind third base. And again, that's where the shortstop can get to. And Sankiewicz doesn't make a mistake with that one and takes care of it just like the previous bat. 2 down now. As we go to Allie Schick.
Now batting number 2, Allie Schick.
The designated player. She's first pitch swing. This one's going to spin back and out of play for a strike. And we talked about the aggressiveness in the first inning of the first pitch swinging here by Windermere, and it's certainly continuing here in this inning, is getting 3 runs back on the board so far. Pulling to within 1 run of the Storm here is Windermere making sure everybody knows that they're not just going to lay down in this winner-take-all championship game. And that one upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marion ready. And that one turned on by Schick, foul. That was a better swing from her. We talked about how a little bit of an issue with contact here so far in the tournament, but that was a good swing and put a good move on that one. See if she has one more here in her. Obviously Marion hoping for the opposite. Off-speed pitch held back just enough to foul it off and almost earned a base hit out of that with the ball off the cap. Allie Schick, known by Alley Cat or Al to her teammates. Is undecided about what she's going to study just yet at Murray State University, but thinks maybe physical therapy. And that one she looks at strike 3 there, and that'll do it here in the top half of the 5th inning. For the Wildfire, though, 3 runs on 3 hits, including the big 3-run home run with just 1 Storm error and no Wildfire left on base. Your new score through 4.5 innings is Storm 10, Wildfire 9. And we'll go ahead and stay here and talk about U.S. Olympic team. We've seen that they are now 3-0 in Japan. And obviously the U.S. national team is a major component of USA softball, picking up victories over Italy, Canada, and Mexico. And they have left Australia and Japan in round-robin play before they get to the medal round. Again, the Olympics are going to set all the way through August 8th. Obviously, softball won't continue on that far into it. But those games now, including the game today against Mexico and then against Australia and Japan, are at Yokohama Stadium. Previously, they were at the Fukushima Stadium, if you saw that set up prior to the opening ceremonies. Still, we're ready now here for the bottom half of the 5th inning. And Machado looked at ball 1 off the first offering from Grimes. Grimes has done well to settle in nicely here since coming back in for Buckner. That one downstairs for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Still runs on the board in each of the innings here for the Storm, but Grimes doing well to help stave away the momentum they had after that 6-run second inning. Machado turns that one over, foul on the third base side. As you see, the flag in center field starting to move a little bit. The flags out near the parking lot are moving. It looks like there's a little bit more wind out there than there was previously. It's getting a little darker out there, but the light's on here at Moyer, so there'll be no issue with sight. Check swing, check down at first base, and the right arm came up. So we go 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Machado. Grimes is ready. And Machado just protecting there, had to hold back and just arm swing that one foul over the first base fence. That one's the second time that we've seen Grimes go ahead and let go of one a little too early, almost ground balling that one in. Count is run full now. Is Machado doing well to get back into a favorable position? 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that one downstairs gets away from the catcher. So if Machado wanted to push the issue, that's a live ball, but she'll just take a little saunter down there to first base for the walk, and starts off again with the leadoff runner on for the Storm. That's how you score runs in every inning. Second baseman Anna Brait back up. Brait 2 for 3 today with 2 runs scored, is having a little bit of discussion, home plate, and coach from Windermere. As he wanted to come out and talk to his pitcher, I wonder if he was checking how many trips he had left to go to the circle. Certainly those are things that are counted and limited at all levels now, including collegiately. Looks like everything's good to go. Coach Paulson on his way back into the first base dugout. Mr. Clayton behind home plate has his dish looking ready to go, and Brait is ready to step back in as she would love to have a 3-hit day here with another knock here in this at bat. No chance at that one as it's upstairs at her head for ball 1. And wind actually looks like it's changed a little bit and going out. And looking at the American flag over toward the parking lot area of the Moyer complex. And Brait turns this one on, line drive to center field. Keister had no chance to catch that one as it just lines up over her head and short hops the fence. But she hit it too hard, did Brait, to advance to second, because Machado also had to be safe and hold up just in case Keister was able to get a hand to it, as she didn't have the view that we have up here. But runners on first and third now, nobody down, as the bats just continue to spray balls all over the place for the Storm. And it looks like now a change will be made by the Wildfire, as Grimes will exit for the second time today. And coming back in is Libby Lewandowski, number 27. And that means that also Grimes cannot come back into this game, as that was, she re-entered once. So her day is done. And a warm-up pitch is going on. Looks like we need a couple here. Work out the cobwebs as that one went to the backstop here. Runners on first and third. Machado on third after reaching via walk. And Anna Brait just with that line drive single that short hopped the wall in right field. And they're sitting out there for Tava Thornsberry now, the catcher. Eight o'clock now here at the Moyer Complex. And that's in there for strike one. So Lewandowski with a good start here. And that one misses down low. Had the plate, but down low, ball one. Not a bad idea with the off-speed pitch here with a power bat like Thornsberry there. That's in there for strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And notice that Thornsberry every time, regardless of the count, is a rung up on that bat. There's some space in between her bottom hand and the handle, which is fairly rare for middle of the order batters, especially in today's baseball and softball games. That one's downstairs, 2 ball, 2 strikes, but she has no issues with plate coverage and undoubtedly enjoys that little bit of extra control she has over the bat with the shorter stick. And she pops that one up second base side. Sliding over to it was Lipari, and she squeezes it for out number 1, and that's a big out if you're a Wildfire fan. What you need is at least one more of those to allow the normal force plays to come into action here. Hannah Marion steps up, though, and she certainly has shown what she can do both in the circle in the first game and in this game. And then with the bat, with the grand slam as part of that 6-run second inning. And she looks at ball 1 there. Still runners on first and third, 1 out. Marion swings and lifts that one into shallow right center. Coming in as Keister makes a really nice play to get there and pop up from her knees and throw a strike to Dylan Anthony, the cutoff person near the pitcher circle. Outstanding job by Lily Keister out there in right field. Not just to come in and make a difficult play, but the sense of mind after having to go to her knees to make the play, to pop up and get the ball in, with Machado still sitting there at third waiting to tag up. And the umpire or the coach from Windermere has come out trying to see if he can go talk to his team, and I think he's being told by the umpire that you've already had one trip here this inning and then made a change. Curious if there's something else that can happen, or they continue to talk about that here, looking to try to set up some strategy here. And obviously that's not a bad idea with a bat like Reagan Sankowitz coming up next. So USA Softball has also had the Stand Beside Her tour as a series of competitions and training opportunities that was helping to prepare the USA softball national team head to the Olympic Games in Tokyo. The Stand Beside Her message encouraged fans everywhere to stand united in their support of the women's national team and the United States on their journey towards the Olympics. The Stand Behind Her tour evoked a powerful message of unity aimed to inspire communities to stand beside her, the members of the women's national team, America, and the future generation of female athletes. And now there's a discussion further here being happened with Coach Shepard from the Storm. Looks like there was a loud discussion inside in the circle for Coach Paulson. And now we're ready to continue playing here, folks. Lewandowski ready with the pitch he wants and fires a strike to the shortstop Sankowitz. Reagan is officially 0 for 1 in this game with 2 walks. And that one's outside for ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. 10-9 ball game here, folks. Winner take all, 18U championship. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Storm have scored in each previous inning and have not pushed one across just yet here in this frame. And with 2 down, Windermere hoping to keep that from happening as that pitch was outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fouled straight back, evens the count at 2-2. 2 down here, bottom half of the 5th. And that one's downstairs, so full up here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Will Sankowitz get a walk for a 3rd time in this game? Or will there be a different outcome for this at bat here for Storm shortstop? And she hits a little blooper to her counterpart at short. Scalzo is able to track back a couple steps and corral it and put the first goose egg on the board for the Storm in any inning in this contest. For the Storm in the bottom half of the 5th inning, no runs on 1 hit. There were no wildfire errors and 2 Storm players left on base. Your score through 5 complete is the Storm 10 and the Wildfire 9. We'll be back with you here from Salem in just a few moments. Leading off the top half of the 6th inning for Windermere is the right fielder, number 33, Lily Keister.
Leading off, number 33, right fielder, Lily Keister.
We saw her make a really nice play out there as Windermere was able to limit the Storm to their first shutout frame of this contest. Runs have been scored in 8 of the 10 halves of innings in this game. 10 runs on 11 hits with 1 error for the Storm. 9 runs on 10 hits with 3 errors for the Wildfire. Keister slaps that one, and that'll go down as a base hit. His hard shot with all infielders in there. Very difficult play for Sankowitz to come up with, especially after Machado tried to get it first and may have had some job in blocking her from the original site of play. Either way, we got a base hit and a discussion. Coach Shepard, and it looks like Marion's day is. Yep, Marion's day is done, at least in the circle. She'll stay in the lineup to bat as our new player, number 15. I need to go to my roster as I haven't seen her yet. Is our new player number 15, Mandy Taylor? Yes, I have. She just played a different position. That's why I didn't think so. Mandy Taylor will now take the batting order position of Jasmine Francic, the original starter. So Marion goes back to designated player status. And into the pitcher spot now, batting 8th in the order, will be Taylor. Charlie Warren will be the first batter that Taylor faces. Taylor has made just one appearance, giving up 1 hit and walking 2 without recording an inning pitched here in Salem. And she's going to get a opportunity here to stop Windermere from getting back on board or getting back onto the board here and at least tying this ball game. Leadoff runner on over there at first base, and first pitch is ball 1 outside to Warren. Warren is the left fielder for the Wildfire. And she slaps that one to short. Sankowitz up with it, long throw. Yep, not going to get her there. His speed from both players there on the pass. Keister got to second base before Brate could even get there with the way the infield was playing. And no way they were going to throw out Warren from a deep spot at shortstop because the speed is just too much. So first 2 runners on here, nobody down. And the big bat of Olivia Lipari steps in. And that one's in there for strike. And that one's also in there for a strike. Another quick discussion here with Lipari and third base coach. All right. Not sure what the extra talk is about here right now, but looks like we're ready to continue on. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Mandy Taylor working on her second batter. And chopped over to third. Machado up with it. She'll go back and step on the base to get the lead runner. First out of the inning So fielder's choice 5U for those of you scoring at home.
Now batting center fielder, number 20, Emily Allen.
And that brings up Emily Allen, the center fielder. Obviously, still a very dangerous bat. She had a base hit up the center, up the middle to center field her last time up. And with 2 runners out there and just 1 down, there's RBIs to be had. And Allen looks like she wanted to try to stop herself there, but clipped at it, and she would have had a full swing anyway, as she was certainly past parallel. Taylor working ahead, 1 strike on her. Fouled back again. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 down here in the top half of the 6th inning of this winner-take-all championship. Game number 70 in your bracket. And that one also fouled off. So Allen staying alive, still 0-2. Taylor's pacing not much quicker than Marion. Although has her sign and she's ready. And that one lifted towards center field. And came in too far there, did Platt, and it goes off the top of her glove. Run scores. We've got a tie ball game as runners on second and third. So now the question is here, does that go a hit or an error? And we'll give our official scorer a second to think about that one. And we've come to an error on that play. Does that make sense? There's a little bit of a misplay there coming in on it and got back to it. Was in a position to make a play and off her glove. So we'll go with an error there on that one. Regardless, run comes around to score.
Number 4, the first baseman, Dylan Anthony.
And we've got a new ball game now. Well, sort of new, as there's still 2 other runners out there. 1 run in. 10-10 ball game now, folks. Which Florida squad wants this one? And that one's in there for a strike. And that's really been the story of this game, folks, are the errors. Both teams have made them that have contributed to runs coming in. Now it's 3rd inning with 1 error for the Storm squad. And that one fouled off as runners were moving, as trying to put a little something in motion there was Coach Paulson. But 0-2 count now. And in the 6th-run inning for the Storm, there were 2 errors in that one by the Wildfire. 1 error the next inning where another run came across. 3 errors apiece. The difference here is the Storm have left 7 runners on base. As that one's outside, maybe a little high as well by Taylor. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Taylor now ready. And the pitch, chopped, foul at the plate, maybe off of Anthony's foot. As the Wildfire first baseman walks off a little bit and is ready to go again at 1-2. Again, just 1 down here, 1 run in already. 10-10 ball game now. Chopper right back to the circle. Taylor takes care of it over to first base. 2 down as that's a big out.
Now batting, shortstop, 00, Lexi Scalzo.
Lexi Scalzo steps in now, the shortstop for the Wildfire. Scalzo, 3-run home run, her last at bat, last inning. And doesn't offer that one downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 pitch ready. And that one's in there. Strike 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Taylor ready. And that one's upstairs and out. Ball 2, 2 balls, 1 strike. If this championship returns to the Roanoke Valley in Salem, this facility will likely have a much different look. Next year, we're slated to host the 2022 Division III Softball Championships. That's the NCAA Division III Softball Championship. And when that event is concluded, the doors will shut, and the city is going to put somewhere between 12 and 15 million into a renovation of this place. Everything is going to be ripped up and changed out and regraded. It'll be the first time in the long history of this facility that it's been redone and has any sort of renovation like that, as that one's fouled off by Scalzo. So we should be at 2 balls, 2 strikes. But the Moyer Complex has been the home for the Old Dominion Athletic Conference Championship, a Division III league here in Virginia, for the Mountain East Conference Championship, which was previously the West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, a Division II conference just across the mountains in West Virginia. And there's Scalzo sending one into the gap in left center. Won't get to the wall as Turner cuts it off, but that's not going to keep Scalzo from turning in with a double. And 2 more runs coming across, as Windermere just keeps on hitting. 3 hits in the inning, 3 runs scored, 1 error attributed to the Storm. And they just keep on plugging along. Your score now is 12-10. Larkin Maceda now, the catcher up, wearing number 1. With Scalzo on second. And that's outside for ball 1. Sun is definitely behind the mountains now as we see the lights starting to take effect on the field. Even in the haze, you still have a good pink sunset over the mountains to the southwest. And that one's outside. 2 balls, no strikes. As we're talking about, the Moyer Complex has also hosted Division II National Championships, Division III National Championships. And it's really been Virginia's championship city, with multiple sports having hosted more than 90 NCAA championships since 1994. And that's a little pop-up into shallow right field that is taken care of out there by Bassani. But the damage was done for the Wildfire. 3 runs on 3 hits. 1 Storm error, 1 Wildfire player left on base. Your new score through 5.5 is the Windermere Wildfire 12, the Florida Storm 10. We'll come back to you here in Salem in just a few moments.
Leading off for Florida Storm, number 21 and the first baseman, Zoe Thornsbury.
Back here for the bottom half of the 6th inning here in Salem, Virginia. And first baseman Zoe Thornsbury leading things off. 7, 8, 9 batters for the Storm. And she looks at strike one. Actually trying to look at some things here, trying to figure out if the lineup has been correctly attributed to just in the program here for you folks. As I know Francic is out of the game. And that one's in there for strike two. No balls, 2 strikes. Looking on the Game Changer app up there. We'll have to see who comes up to bat here in this place, but it should be Taylor batting for Francic after Thornsbury. And the 0-2 pitch is outside. As Libby Lewandowski stays in, now she becomes your pitcher of record here in this one, at least on the winning side. I believe Taylor is now the pitcher of record for Storm. Have to look at it for when the change was made. And there's Zoe Thornsbury with a base hit to center field to lead things off. And again, the trend continues. I think it has been each inning, and I haven't tracked it. I've said it for each of the past 4. So I'm not sure about the first and second innings, but the leadoff runner has reached base for the Storm, I believe, in every inning here. Now we got Mandy Taylor properly coming up to the base now as she took the place of Jasmine Francic in the order. And I'm looking for a bunt here. Yes, no, no. Just thinking a batter here that hasn't swung it so much here in Salem. You might just want to look to move up a runner and go to a hot Bassani down there, who's 2 for 3 today. And then turn the lineup back over to the top of the order. Regardless, 1-0 count now on Taylor. And make it 2-0. She can certainly walk if Lewandowski isn't going to give her anything to hit, but even then, could be Mandy Taylor's time here as base hits have been plentiful. 25 between the two teams, 22 runs on 25 hits. That one's in there for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. 12 runs on 13 hits with 3 errors for the Wildfire. 10 runs on 12 hits with 3 errors for the Storm. And Taylor turns that one around into the gap, but Emily Allen out there making a play. My apologies. Alex Allen is a former basketball player at the University of Lynchburg that I remember when I see the name Allen like that. But it's Emily Allen who ranges over and corrals that line drive for the first out.
Now batting number 11, the right fielder, Ava Bassani.
That brings up Ava Bassani, the right fielder. As I mentioned before, 2 for 3 today with a run scored and a run driven in. Zoe Thornsbury stays at first base after that line out to center. And over over for strike one is the offering from Lewandowski. And just looking at things with the scoring, I guess two of the errors that I have attributed to for the Storm have been called hits for the Wildfire, or at least one of them is a hit for the Wildfire, because I was looking at things and saw that Scalzo is getting ready for a cycle try. It's a grounder to short there. Tried to turn two, but not quite, as Bassani beat the return throw from Lipari. And two down now here with just Bassani over there at first base, and we go ahead and turn the lineup back over to Karis Platt. That one was there, and that's going to be a pass ball on Maceda. As Maceda just didn't squeeze that one. She's looking at her glove there right now. Something's going on, and showing it to the bench. Maybe there's a popped string. We'll see. One ball, no strikes on Platt. And that one's upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. And if you're the Storm, you want base runners here. Slaps that one toward left field, but everybody playing in for the speedy Platt, and no problem out there with it was Charlie Warren, so ends the threat there for the Storm. As through 6 innings, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no runners left on base there. Your new score, or your same score, I should say, through 6 is Wildfire 12, Storm 10. As we go to the 7th inning with Wildfire trying to add some extra insurance and Storm with one more chance to come back in this winner take all championship.
Leading off for Wildfire, the third baseman, number 22, Moyer Rodriguez.
It'll be the third baseman, Mariah Rodriguez, leading off for the Wildfire. Batters 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. And Rodriguez 2 for 3 today with a pair of RBI and a run scored. As Mandy Taylor still in the circle for the Storm. That one's upstairs for ball 1. And popped up behind home plate, and that'll get out of play. And that'll be one of the changes that we see here to the Moyer complex, is the main walk area is here right now open to foul balls and things like that, especially through the tunnel areas. Those will be capped over with roofs in the new designs that I saw. And Rodriguez turns that one around to left field, but right in the path of Haley Turner. And Turner will squeeze it for out number 1. And it looks like we will.
Number 29, Jaden Rosowski.
Yep. Looking at Jaden Ruskowski coming back in for Allie Schick. Open stance in the left-handed batter's box. And the first offering from Taylor is too low. Have areas for expanded athletic training and umpire areas as well, changing areas and whatnot, and the new design that comes through. And it won't just be the softball complex, as they'll redesign the walking areas around the river, as that's in their 1 ball, 1 strike, as the Roanoke River is right down behind this. And then also as you lead up to it with the park, the skate park up there, which is a very popular venue for the youth here in Salem, that will also get a facelift as well, and augmentation, I should say, is what it's going to get. And that's out, not a strike. My apologies. I thought that one was going to be called out there. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's one of the reasons also with the river being so close why they can't put turf fields in here. So each of the fields will still be natural grass. And part of it is because the complex here where it sits and how it's graded out is still part of the floodplain. And turning on that one is Ruskowski, and that is going to go all the way to the wall in right center. And a 1-out double there has the Wildfire in business.
Now batting right fielder, number 33, Lily Kirsten.
Lily Keister stepping up now, the right fielder, 1 for 3 today. Keister, as she has done every at-bat, showing bunt first. Pulls back and traveling awful high up there right now. I know that it's hard to tell now with the line being blurred away by the dust. But she seems like she's higher up the box as well in her original setup. The 1-0 pitch. Upstairs, maybe a little inside as well, 2-0. Taylor's offering. That one also misses, this time wide. 3 balls, no strikes. And taking all the way, ball 4 there, so speed on the base pass now. As Charlie Warren, the left fielder and leadoff batter, steps back in. 3 for 4 today, 2 runs and an RBI. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change, and we are, as Hannah Marion is going to come back in. So do the same switch we had before. So just a positional switch there inside of the lineup as Marion goes back into the pitcher circle. And Taylor now becomes the OP. and stays right where she was. But what I was saying before about the renovation plan for this complex, because it's so close to the river and with the floodplain, you can't put the artificial turf there that has the infill. Because in the case of, outfield getting flooded, it really doesn't come up to the infield if it does get flooded. I've seen it happen once or twice over the years. But it gets in the outfield, and all that infill would drain back into the river, which creates problems both for the field and environmentally. So everything will stay natural grass here, but everything will be updated, tarps for the fields. As that's a strike in there from Marion to Warren. You can already see down the third base line there's a tarp here. And the guys, let me tell you, the years that I've been here doing ODAC softball and NCAA softball, they know how to get out there and pull it and get it done. I've had to use it a couple times this year and did a nice job with it to keep this field specifically playable. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing I think they are trying to do is if they can get the areas in front of the dugouts, if they can do those artificial so that it helps with runoff from when a tarp is needed. And that one is a bunt foul. And Tava Thornsberry's glad it got just a little bit foul there as it's soft dust right there now in front of the batter's box, and it just did get to a foul area. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Warren. Slapped foul, third base side, and going over previously mentioned tarp area over by the tropical snow venue, which I think at one point was open today, but no longer. Showing 80 degrees currently, and it's still hazy out there. Lazy wind going on as well. Hazy and lazy, I think, is a good way to put it. And slap third right at Machado, and she squeezed it, has nowhere to throw with it, and she really wanted to throw that ball. She had that arm cocked back a couple times, ready to catch somebody off base, but alert base running means just 1 out there and 2 out now in the inning. As we go to Olivia Lapari. Lapari's 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBI. Had that home run in the first inning, way back in the first inning. I don't remember the time it was because I don't think any of us were smart enough to record the start of the game, about what time it actually began. But Lapari, one of 4 players in this lineup with multiple hits. And I don't think Lexi Scalzo is going to get a chance unless we go extended innings here, or if they continue on with this inning. Lexi Scalzo is a little far down to get a shot at going for the cycle. Lapari fouls that one off to go down 0-1 against Marion. Given the situation of the game right now, Marion returning and wrong team. As I was thinking about, is this a save situation? But wrong team we're looking at, because that would be Windermere we'd need to look at. No balls, 2 strikes now on Lapari. Marion's ready. And that one's upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think there were a couple people in the stands that wanted that one, but it was certainly high. And that one's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Two runners on first and second, two down here, top of the seventh. And that one fouled straight back by Lipari. And we'll do it again at 2-2. Off the hands on that one and fouled back. So one more 2-2 offering coming as Lipari does well to stay alive. And the offering fouled off again, this time much sharper. Cameras out for multiple parents here as they're all trying to capture that championship moment here as we get closer to it. And a chopper towards second base, sprayed up with it, and throws over to end the inning. So for Windermere in the top half of the second inning, there were no runs on one hit, there were no Storm errors, and two Wildfire runners left on base. Your score through 6.5 is Windermere 12 and the Storm 10. Three more outs here for the Storm to at least tie to extend this game, if not overtake, and claim the title in this winner-take-all U18 USA Softball Gold National Championship. Here we go, folks. Bottom of the seventh inning. 2-3-4 for the Storm against Libby Lewandowski here in the circle. Game is hers as far as pitcher of record at the moment. $12 runs on 14 hits for the Wildfire. 10 runs on 12 hits for the Storm. And believe it or not, they've combined to strand 12 runners as well. Just lots of base path motion today, folks. And the first pitch from Lewandowski, trying for something off speed on the outside to Machado, is ball one. Base runners is the key right now if you're a Storm fan. Strikes and outs are what you want to see for the Wildfire, and that's obvious for both. But I'm an announcer, and you have to have those Captain Obvious moments, right? That one's in there for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are just some things you have to count on in the announcing game. Is the Captain Obvious moments and the announcer's curse. Hopefully I've stayed away from that. 1-1 pitch. Foul tip there, as indicated by Mr. Clayton. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Lewandowski seems to have a little bit of hop in her step out there, as that was a good fastball that Machado swung through. Tried to hold that one and get an off-speed pitch, but this time lost it low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. All the fans standing up here. And that one's way outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Okay, folks. Will the trend continue for the Storm with the leadoff runner getting on? 3-2 pitch coming. Lewandowski ready. And lifted into right center field. Well hit way back, and it is gone. Not just reaching bases, but touching them all for Casey Machado with a solo home run to right center field. That brings the Storm 1 run closer to extending this ball game, as it's now 12-11 in favor of the Wildfire. Anna Brait stepping in now, and not only that, but she's the hottest hitter in the lineup. 3 for 4 today, 2 runs, no RBI, and I guess that's an arguable statement to say she's the hottest hitter in the lineup when you've got 1-2 batters later waiting to come up that's hit a grand slam today. But Brait 3 for 4, and looks at a fastball up and in for ball 1. Crowd livening, freshening up out there. And time taken by Lewandowski. As that one's downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. That one's in there for strike 1. Big pitch for Lewandowski. She needed that. First strike since allowing the opposite field home run to Casey Machado. I tell you, Coach Shepard out there in the third base coach's box, he can't stand still. Hasn't been able to do it since the inning started. I'm standing up again. Swing and fouled straight back. Whew. Brait had a good look at that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. These two teams certainly have not disappointed in the 2 games today, giving us a 1-0 pitchers duel in the first one, and then an absolute offensive explosion here in this second contest. And that's ripped to first, knocked down by Anthony. And she'll step on the bag for the first out. I'm telling you, that was an absolutely smoked line drive right at her. Was able to get her hands in front of her face to knock it down. And then ball dropped right at her feet to be able to pick it up and step on the bag. That brings up the catcher, Ava Thornsberry. Ava's 2 for 4 today. Tava, I should say, with a run and an RBI. And off speed on the first pitch has been the formula in this game, at least. I think that's the 3rd time I've seen it. That one is in there for a strike, which means Tava has to respect it now. The 0-1 pitch. That's in there for strike 2. That's a good fastball on the outer half. No balls, 2 strikes. Pitcher looking for a sign. Batter waiting ready. Now she's ready. Here it comes. Off the end of the bat to first baseman Dylan Anthony. She steps on the bag again for a second out. Are the Storm down to a final out? Is this the final batter? Will the Wildfire come away with this win?
31, Hannah Marion.
Or is it Hannah Marion stepping in to provide more drama, as she already has in this game? Not as successful in the circle as the previous contest where she battled Kat Buckner in a 1-0 contest, but in this game, she's come up with a big bat with a grand slam home run as part of a 6-run inning. Does she have a little more in her? Lewandowski comes with an off-speed pitch that misses down low for ball 1. Every single person except for one I see in the stands is standing right now. And there's a portion of the stands that is blocked by a wall, and I'm not going to look to see if they're sitting too. So everybody's standing from my perspective. That one's in there for strike 1. So 2 off-speed pitches to start the at-bat against Marion. 1 ball, 1 strike. 12-11 contest. 1 run in for the Storm already this inning. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Marion turns on it and hammers it to left, but ranging over and grabbing the line drive is Charlie Warren. That ends the game, and Windermere Wildfire plays 12 games here in Salem and comes away with the 18U National Championship via a 12-11 scoreline. 12 runs on 14 hits for Windermere. 11 runs on 13 hits for the Florida Storm. Outstanding offensive softball here in this contest after an outstanding pitcher's duel and defensive battle in the first championship game. Folks, they gave it to you all today. Both of these teams were absolutely outstanding. And it ended with as much drama as it started, with teams scoring runs in bucketfuls. 4 home runs in this contest, including a grand slam. Several multi-hit hitters. Several pitchers used by both teams, and both teams used